Hello everyone, welcome again to another series of video from Electronics Eternity. This time around we'll be looking at a continuation of our JS charts videos. In the past we have looked into all types of JS charts, including bar chart, line chart, and also pie and donut chart, right? So we have pretty much gone through all the types of like JS charts. We have looked into how to construct all these charts. However, in this tutorial, I am going to do something different. I am going to build a chart based on a value that I get from PHP database, right? So in this case, I have already built PHP database. As you can see, my PHP admin here, and I have a database. Underneath that database, I have a table name operation, and these are the values, right? So I'm going to use this value to plot this bar chart, right? So that when we have a dynamic table that continues to update itself, we can have the corresponding graphical illustration as well, which is in this case our JS charts, right? So with that being said, it's very important for you to go through all the previous videos for you to understand how to construct JS chart first, using the basic approach where we use our values uh, directly typed into our code. But in this case, we are going to extract it from database and then use it to construct our chart, right? So you need to go through all the previous videos for you to get an understanding on how to construct a basic JS chart. Once you have done that, then you can come to this video and my explanation hopefully would make sense to you on how to use a PHP database. Okay, so without further delaying, let's look into the code. So if you look at the code over here, let me just expand it. So it's important to understand that this code is basically the basic JS chart code. It's just that we have added PHP elements to it. If you could see, the construct is exactly the same with how we create a basic JS chart, which is started with HTML script, and then the body, canvas declaration. In between we have PHP, and then the script. Inside the script you could see the properties of your chart as usual, which is background colors and etc., and then the options. So that is the code as its basic frame, it will still follow the same. However, in between, in order to get values from PHP database, we will be inserting PHP elements. All right. So let's look at the PHP elements. So this is how you start the bracket for PHP, and then you include connect to DB PHP. What this does is basically go here, connect to the database, and it establishes a connection. If the connection fails, then you should throw an error. If not, do nothing about it, right? So localhost root testing database is basically where we have our table, right? So testing database, underneath this database, we have our table. Okay, so that is what connect to DB does. And next is we're going to select year as month name and sales as amount from operation. Operation is basically the table name. Year as month name, sale as amount, right? So we're gonna take year over here and we're gonna just put it as month name. It's just that when I was editing the code previously, I had month name in my code and I just used it as it is, right? So you can actually put anything. You could say year name or whatever year, just about anything, right? And sales here is basic. Apologies. Sales here is basically the amount, right? Sales as amount from operation. So this is the SQL command, and you run it in the you run the query into the connection which you have established over here, right? So over here we established this is the connection, and you run the SQL query in the connection. So that you can get the values from the table. So next is we're gonna get minimum value. Just bear with me why we need minimum value. I will show it to you. So basically run the SQL query, you get minimum value in sales, and then you fetch the array, put the same value in minimum value, and next is you print what is the minimum value minus 100. So just bear with me. I will explain why we are doing that. Next is for each return from the query, you process it as a data. So for each data where you get month name, which we have written over here, you put it as month, and then amount from sales, you put it as a month, right? So that we can use it for later. So we're gonna have number of months to count. Just bear with me again. I will explain why do we need the number of month. Okay. So then you go to the number of amounts and you count the amount to get what's the number, right? So that is the PHP part over here. I will explain this. Okay. And next we enter the script. Again, this is being commented out, and I will show you what it means actually. So in to declare the x and y values, previously in our basic JS chart, we have placed the value directly over here. However, this time we have our PHP code running. So what PHP code does is it runs a for loop, and the for loops ends at number of months, because if you have for years like 2020, 2021 up to 2023, you want it to stop after the fourth time. So that's what we are doing over here, number of months, and the same over here is number of amounts, which is sales, number of sales. You have 4 entries for sales, and you want the for loop to stop at the fourth attempt because there's basically no values after that. And you're gonna echo JSON encode month $y. So y starts with 0 and then ends with whatever number of months you have. The same with x, starts with 0 and then it ends with whatever number of amounts you have. Now so this is what we did with the minimum value just now, right? We are putting the minimum value over here. So let me just save this and I'll show you how it looks in the bar chart. So this is how it looks at the bar chart. As you can see, the lowest value here is 900, but the y-axis starts with 800. Now, if I were to take this out, let's see what happens. Let's just say I take this particular value, I remove it, right? And then I save it, and then I go here, click refresh. You see my 2023 disappears simply because the lowest value starts at 900. So if you don't want an odd looking bar chart, you can always include this minimum value at your y value of plotting. Then you refresh, you would have a nice looking chart like this. Now the reason, if you notice, we have dot comma over here. Now the reason why we need that dot comma is basically because x values, one value before the other is separated by comma, and therefore you need to put the comma. All right, so let me uncomment this, and I will show you how it looks like. So if I refresh, you see I have these values like 800 2020 comment, 2021 comment, 2022, and all those things. So look, I think I need to comment another one value as well. So I need to take out this print r. So and then I'll save it. I'll show you how it looks like. So you have 2020 separated by comma and everything, and then you have the sales separated by comma. So that's the only way. It has to be in this format for the years. It has to be in this format for the years over here, and for the sales you need it to be over here. So that's what this for loop is basically over here. I'm just showing you how it works, right? So we take the same for loop, we put it in our x and y values, and we could get the values that we need to plot our table. Okay, so that's pretty much the concept. Everything else remains the same, but we are making some changes to accommodate our PHP database extraction, right? So that's the basics. That's pretty much the essence of incorporating PHP database into your JS chart. Now, if you go to line chart, it's exactly the same. Wherever I need X and Y values, I'm using PHP and for loop. And before I could use it over here, I'm running some processing. I'm getting the values from the database, keeping it ready over here, and then I put it in my X and Y values uh, within the script boundary, right? So the same for line chart, pie and donut chart. It's the same concept as well, and it works. In order to prove it, let me show you. This is the bar chart, and this is the line chart, right? Let me refresh it, and you have the pie and donut chart. So the value still works for whatever chart, and you could use the same PHP command to get it. All right. So uh, with that, we have come to the end of the video. I hope my explanation helps you to understand how you can incorporate your PHP database into your JS chart, and you can use it in your own project. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until we meet again. Bye bye.